Well, I don't usually talk about video game news, even though it's not particularly new anymore at this point, but I am a gamer. I actually have a gaming playlist on my channel, which not many people seem to be aware of, and this is something that gets me pretty excited. That's rather unusual. Normally when a game is announced, even if it's something that interests me, I'm more like, yeah, looks interesting, seems promising, I'll check it out. But in this case, I'm really just, clawing into my chair going, yes, I want this, and I can't wait until it comes out. So it's called Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night, and it is a spiritual successor to Symphony of the Night, which is one of my all-time favorite games. It's right there in the top 5 or so, and it's my favorite Castlevania game. There were other Castlevania games on the handhelds in the same style, which I also very much liked. So this is the first time that a Kickstarter project for a game actually makes me perk up and makes me consider pledging. I don't normally do that because, well, with pre-orders and even more so with funding projects like that, you never know what you're getting, and sometimes you're not even getting anything at all. There are no guarantees. But this seems very promising, so I might actually do it. The thing is, this does not seem to be an overhyped case with no substance, or where the team is secretive about what it is and what it isn't up until the release. No Man's Sky, anyone? This actually has a demo now, playable, and some people have played it. There is gameplay footage on YouTube, and it looks good. It looks really good. I was a little bit disappointed by the art style. There isn't really anything wrong with it in particular, but I saw these pictures, concept art. Now, it says very clearly they are concept art, not in-game screens, not representative of the final product. It says right there. Yes, I know. But I was so hoping that it would be this kind of hand-drawn 2D style. The game is still 2D, well, 2.5D, but it's actually using 3D models. I'm not a developer, but I would think that animating 2D sprites is more time-consuming than 3D models. I could be wrong, but either way, I would have really loved if it was this kind of style, because that looks freaking amazing, and I would have loved that. The way it is, oh well, it's all right. Like, graphics are not going to throw anybody off the chair, I don't think, but they look decent. And the more important thing is it looks and quote unquote feels, it's hard to tell just going by video rather than playing it on your own, but the way everything moves really looks like a Castlevania. And fortunately, this is not Konami doing it. I say fortunately, well, if you're a gamer, you know exactly why I say fortunately, because Konami has gone to absolute garbage. It's a mutated, hideous abomination, and not even a shadow of its former self. It's like a blurry little faded after image recorded with a potato. So I'm actually quite happy that it's not Konami, because they can just go die in virtual fires as far as I'm concerned at this point. But the developers behind this actually seem to care about the game and about gamers. Imagine that. Even the entire style, it's just, you can tell that they're really into it. If you look at the portrait of the project lead on the website, Koji Igarashi, I probably mispronounced that, it's him as Dracula. That's awesome. I really approve of that. And the way everything is, like the character design, is completely in line with Symphony of the Night. That clothing style, the colors, and the overall art style of faces, and it's very, the menus are also designed in that manner, and everything just looks like it's exactly an updated version of Symphony of the Night, which is exactly what I want, 100%. It's also nice to see that the backing has been extremely successful. Their goal was $500,000, which I don't know if that's a little low. Usually in Kickstarter projects like this, they tend to underestimate just how many costs are involved. But they got 5.5 million. 5.5 million. Even if their 500,000 goal was completely underestimated, I'm pretty sure they're going to be fine. And all kinds of extras are funded at this point. Co-op is funded. Second and third playable character, retro level, Wii U and Vita port, orchestrated tracks. Oh yeah, speaking of which, in the gameplay footage, the music. Yep, they nailed it. Exactly the same kind of style. They also got the funding for the roguelike dungeon and lots of things. It seems, yeah, I like it. I very, very much like what I see. And that's why I wanted to show you, in case any Symphony of the Night or Castlevania fans in general among you haven't seen this yet. Oh, and by the way, they've actually also shown some animations, which I also found interesting, and I bet you would like me to talk a bit about that. It's pretty interesting to look at these animations. There's a kick. The sword slash is a little exaggerated, but it actually looks pretty decent. Also with the footwork, the way she steps forward as she throws the cot. This is the kind of classic oversized heavy sword animation, which is little standard, let's put it like that. The spear, I definitely like the spear animation. Like, this is, of course, not a game where you expect realism in any way, shape, or form. And this is not like 100% close to martial arts techniques, but it doesn't look completely silly, which I appreciate. It doesn't look totally over the top. The movements are actually physically possible, and they look smooth and elegant. Like, they look competent, I would say. Well, with the exception of the heavy sword. It's a little iffy, but they actually look pretty decent. Well, she doesn't have a guard stance. She just kind of has this idle, just upright stance, which, yeah, they probably have reasons for that. But the way she steps into the attacks, I like it. It looks good. Obviously, I'm very much looking forward to it. The estimated release is March 2017, so I suppose we can hope for around summer 2017, because usually there are delays. I mean, if they can make it, that's great. I just don't want to get my hopes up too high and then be disappointed when it's pushed back 2 months or so, or longer. But yeah, let me know what you think about it. Are you excited about it? About Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, which is a really appropriate title and very much in the same spirit as Symphony of the Night. So, yes. Enough talk. Have at you. And if you don't care about this game, then why are you such a miserable little pile of secrets?